Hello, amazing parents. So if you have a child with low tone and you're wondering, how can the Mindful Movement Program help my child? I want to take you on a little sneak peek of what's exactly inside the Mindful Movement Program and the exact videos that you can get started with right away. You can start watching them right today to help your child's brain gather up that information it needs to be able to stack their bones more efficiently and improve low tone, head control, independent sitting, and all of those future milestones. So this is the main screen that you'll find inside the Mindful Movement Program. And you can see there's many different sections, and I've broken them up into head control, rolling over, bearing weight, army crawling, independent sitting, learning to stand. And this green section has all of the guided movements split up into different body parts. But if your child has low tone, I would go back up here to the head control section. And this is where I would actually start. And inside each of these separate sections, there's anywhere from 10 to 30 different guided videos. This head control section just happens to have 17 guided videos. And if you're new to the whole program, I would actually just start with this head control section and just start with the first video, start watching it. There's some really good tips in here on how to pick your child up from a lying down position. I do a little demo with a live client, how to pick your child up from a sitting position, how to connect your child's head, spine, and pelvis in the snuggle position. So these movements, you'll probably find yourself in one of these positions in your daily care activities with your child. And by watching these videos, you'll get little tips of how you can start to explore that connection for them between their head, their spine, and their pelvis. Start bringing their brain's awareness to these different body parts and how to connect them through these different variations of movements. So I would definitely start in this head control section. And then another great section for kids with low tone is the rolling over section is amazing as well. Many of our kids with low tone struggle with head control or struggle with rolling over. So better head control and being able to coordinate your body to roll over. These are foundational movements that your child needs to develop before they can come up into a sitting position, before they can come up into crawling, before they can come up into standing and start walking. You really want these foundational movements, these tiny micro foundational movements to be experienced by their brain before you move on to those larger milestones. So inside this rolling over section, there's 15 guided videos breaking down the rolling over process in smaller bite-sized chunks so that you can explore it with your child. Now, these videos down here at the bottom are amazing. They're the replays of the live Zoom calls that we do inside the Mindful Movement Program. So as a member, you're invited to all of the live Zoom classes, and it's your chance to have me virtually inside your living room so I can see your child and you can see me. And these replays, honestly, have gold in them because you can see other parents and other children that are just very similar to your child and your family, and they ask amazing questions. And we can go a little bit deeper into the actual movements and a little bit deeper into the theory. So I highly recommend you take a peek at those Zoom replays as well. You'll find gold hidden inside them. So definitely check out the head control section, the rolling over section, and this bearing weight section, especially for that concept of stacking the bones. So inside this bearing weight section are the gentle, respectful movements that your child's brain needs before they actually come up into a standing position, before they actually get into an all-four crawling position. All of those movements actually start lying down on the floor as your child's brain collects these experiences of where their body parts are in space and how forces traveling through their bones, traveling through their limbs, their arms and their legs and their hands, how does that force transfer into other body parts? Remember, we're not just one thing. We're not just a hand or a leg. Our bodies are all connected. So this bearing weight section is a really great way to explore how that transfer of force through the arms and the legs can transfer up into the entire body. So just in these first three sections here, the head control, rolling over, and bearing weight, that's about 30 separate guided videos that you can go over and start incorporating these tiny movements into your everyday life. So even if you join just for the month and do one video a day, you're definitely getting your money's worth. You're going to be able to experiment with all of these different movements, starting to get curious, starting to connect to your child in different ways that you never thought possible, bringing their brain's attention to different body parts that they didn't know they had. And that's only in the very first three sections. So if you keep scrolling down, I actually highly recommend this independent sitting section as well for kids with low tone, just so you have a better understanding of how all of those tiny pieces of the head control, the head, the spine, and the pelvis, and that connection their brains need to make to transfer it into something super functional, such as the larger milestone of independent sitting. And as you watch some of these videos, you'll start to see all of the little pieces starting to fit together of those foundational tiny little micro movements that build up into a larger and larger movement or milestone of that independent sitting. And again, I highly recommend you watch some of the replays of the live Zoom classes, because again, you're actually seeing other parents just like you having their hands on their child, guiding them through different movements. So it gives you lots of really good ideas and tips of how you can incorporate the movements into your everyday life as well. Okay, so if your child has low tone, I would definitely do those sections here: the head control, rolling over, bearing weight. Also the independent sitting. You of course can take a peek at any of the other guided videos as well, any of the other sections. And just to note that this green section here with the independent body parts, of exploring the movements of these independent body parts, definitely take a peek in these ones. These classes are a little bit more in depth and they're more structured. The very first half is the parent doing the movement on themselves first. And then the second half, I actually show you how to do the movement on the skeleton or on a demo child. And I find that the parents who get down on the floor and explore the movements themselves are able to transfer what they've internally felt to their child better than if you don't try, such as the pelvis, the spine, the sternum and ribs, the arms and legs, and the mouth movements. And make sure you, as the parent, get down on the floor and try some of those movements yourself, because you really will see greater changes with your child when you internally feel how those movements are all connected, how your own body's connected. It's easier to transfer that to your child as well. And again, each one of these green sections has anywhere from 10 to 30 different guided videos inside. So there's always just a ton of ideas in there that you can log into at any time, take a peek at, maybe when your child's in bed the night before, do some of the movements yourself. And then the next day you can start incorporating some of those movements into your child's everyday life. And if you keep scrolling, there's even more guided videos, more specific videos. So there's a reduced spasticity without stretching section. This is a really fabulous section because I know a lot of kids with low tone actually have spasticity as well. I know my daughter had mixed tone as well. So this section here teaches you a specific technique on how to reduce spasticity in the arms and the legs. So I go over a little bit of the theory and then I actually show you how to do the movements for the arms and the legs to reduce spasticity in super gentle, respectful movements. So if your child does have any spasticity, I highly recommend these videos as well. Okay, so that's the reduced spasticity section. There's a toe walking section, there's practical movements, and then there's all sorts of bonus goodies that you can take your time and go through. So as you can see, it is packed with guided videos to help you through each different stage of your child's development, to keep adding those tiny micro movements of variation to lay a strong foundation for their brain to be able to piece together those more complex movements of sitting, standing, and walking. So if this sounds like a good fit for your family, you can simply go to the link that's down below and you'll see this page here, and you can just scroll all the way down to the bottom here and you can just pick the payment option that best fits your family and your situation. There's 2 lifetime access options. So you can either buy the whole program just straight outright for one price and you get lifetime access to everything, including all of the live Zoom classes that I do in the future. So all of the Mindful Movement Program members get access to all of the live Zoom classes. So you're invited to all of the live Zoom classes that I'll ever do. And you can ask your specific questions in there and get individual support inside those live Zoom classes. So for lifetime access to the whole program, there's 2 options: just pay once and you're good to go, or there's an 8 monthly payment option. And once you're done that 8 months, you still have access to the entire program. You'll still get invited to all of the live Zoom classes. You are stuck with me. You will get lifetime access to all of those guided videos. Or there's a monthly pay as you go option for less than it costs to see an in-person practitioner for one lesson. And with that monthly payment, you get access to all of the guided videos and any of the live Zoom classes that we do within your month period. So it's a really good place to start if you want to see if it's the right fit for your family and child. Once you decide on one of those 3 options, it will just take you down to this section here, and you can again just pick whichever one you want, enter your details, and you'll have instant access to all of those guided videos and you can get started right away. So hopefully this is helpful and I can't wait to see you inside the program. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm happy to help, and we'll see you on the inside.